Hi, welcome to my mom life. If you're new here, welcome. I'm Jordan, and today I'm going to be sharing with you my recipe for chicken and dumplings. This recipe comes from my grandma. She made this all as I was growing up, and it's my absolute favorite. It never turns out like hers, but it's still the best chicken and dumplings I've ever had. So I'm going to share with you all the ingredients that you're going to need, and then we'll get started cooking. Okay guys, before I get started, I want to say a big thank you to Shauna and Kat for hosting this collab. I'm super excited to be a part of it, and I can't wait to share with you my recipe. Here are all of the ingredients that you're going to need. I have carrots, celery, and an onion, 3 chicken breasts. This is better than bouillon. If you've never tried this, it's really good to add to chicken broth. It just helps give a good flavor. And then over here I have 1 cup of milk, 1 egg beaten, Crisco, baking powder, salt, and flour. And this is for the dumplings. And this side is for the chicken and the stock. So let's get started. Okay, so now we're going to take our veggies and our chicken to our pot. Okay, so I went ahead and put my chicken into the pot, and you're going to want a pretty large pot because once you add the dumplings, it gets pretty full. So I have my chicken breast in there, and I'm just going to add in the water. Okay, so you're just going to want to add in water to about 3/4 of your pot. I guess it depends on how big your pot is, but that's how much I'm adding now. We can add more later. And then I'm going to toss in the veggies. And I'm going to go ahead. My grandma does not add this, but I like to add it just to give extra flavor. To mention, you're also going to want salt and pepper for this part too, but we'll add that in a little bit. Okay, I'm going to put the lid on, and we're going to let this come up to a boil. I have it on high right now. Once it starts boiling, I'll put it on probably about medium and let the chicken get cooked through. Okay, while the chicken is going, I'm going to go ahead and get the dumplings all ready to go. I have my recipe here, so we're going to need 3 cups. We're going to need 3 cups of flour. To the flour, we're going to add 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder. And 1 teaspoon of salt. Now I have a 1/3 cup of Crisco. I'm going to add that in, and I'm just going to, it's called cutting it in, and that just means I'm going to take a fork, or if you have a pastry blender, or a pastry cutter, I'm sorry, which is one of these. But today I'm going to use my fork and mix that Crisco in. Okay, I think that's good. You can't see any big clumps of Crisco. It's all nice and incorporated. So now I'm going to add 1 egg and 1 cup of milk. Your mixture is too dry, you can always add some more milk, or if it's too wet, you can add more flour. I'm going to go in with my hand. That's pretty pretty good. You want kind of a more stiff dough. These are gonna be flat dumplings, not like round, thick biscuit-like dumplings. These are flat, thin dumplings. So we're gonna put this on a flat surface and roll it out. Okay, I've moved to my table because I have tile in my kitchen and it's not good to roll stuff out on. So I'm gonna flour the table so it doesn't stick too bad. And I'm just gonna make sure that it all comes together good. Sprinkle some flour on top so my rolling pin doesn't stick. And I'm just gonna roll it out. See here that this is not perfect, and this does not have to be perfect. This is homemade chicken and dumplings, so it's kind of rustic and they don't have to look perfect. So I'm going to take a pizza cutter and just cut. See, yeah, definitely not perfect. Cut this way, and then I'm going to cut about the size that I want the dumplings to be. You can see that's about how thick they are. And I'm just gonna pile them up on this plate until we're ready for them. Here's all the dumplings cut up. I'm gonna pop them into the fridge because I'm not ready for them yet, and just let them hang out until we're ready to put them into the broth. So the chicken has been boiling for about 20 minutes. Sorry if you can hear my baby in the background, but I don't want this to overcook, so I'm just gonna remove the chicken because it is done. We're gonna let this cook down and just keep developing that flavor of that broth, and just set our chicken to the side. Okay, so my vegetables have been boiling away, and as you can see, the water has dropped way down, so we may add some more liquid to this. It just depends on how it looks once I get all the veggies out. So I'm going to get a bowl. I'm just going to start taking all the veggies out. That's good enough. If there's a little bit, left, that's okay. And you can even leave some of the vegetables in if you want, but they're pretty much mush now, so I like to just get rid of those. And I'm gonna bring this back up to a boil and add in some more water. You can add chicken broth, but this is pretty condensed down, so it's gonna be pretty flavorful. So I'm gonna add some water back in. Now is the time where I'm gonna salt and pepper this. Okay, yeah, that's perfect. So I'm gonna let this come up to a boil, and then we're gonna add our dumplings in. Okay, it is boiling and ready for the dumplings. So I'm just gonna drop them in one at a time. All of the dumplings are in, so now we're just gonna let it boil and cook the dumplings. You don't want it like a super high boil. I'm gonna put it on a 5, so that's about a medium high. And we'll let those cook. And while they're cooking, we're gonna shred the chicken. Now I'm just going to use my hands. I cut off any fat and bits that I didn't want to be in my chicken and dumplings. So now I'm just gonna use my fingers and shred the chicken out. You could also use 2 forks, but I just find it easier just to use my fingers. Okay, that looks pretty good to me. Like I said earlier, it doesn't have to be perfect. This is homemade, this is rustic, and it's delicious no matter how you do it. So we're gonna take this over to the stove and check on our dumplings. Okay, they're looking good. They're gonna take, I don't know, about 15 minutes maybe. It depends on how thick you have them, but you'll know when they're done. So I'm gonna let these keep going. The chicken's already cooked, so it doesn't need to go in until the very end just to heat it back up, but I'm gonna let this keep going and check back in a few minutes. Okay, so they're about done, and I turned it to low because I kind of want it to simmer and thicken up a little bit. The longer it sits, the thicker it'll get, but I don't want to overcook the dumplings and have them turn to mush. So I put it on low, and we're gonna let it cook for a little bit longer. It's been about, I'd say it's been about 15 minutes since we put the dumplings in, so it doesn't take long. So I'll check back with you here in a few minutes to see if it's thickened up any. Okay, it's been a couple minutes and it's thickened up a little bit, so I'm going to go ahead and add the chicken in and just heat that up, and then we'll be ready to serve. Guys, here it is plated up, and I'm telling you, it's the best chicken and dumplings you'll ever have. They're my favorite. I love them so much. If you try this recipe, please leave me a comment and let me know, or tag me on Instagram. Thank you so much to Kat and Shauna for hosting the collab. I can't wait to see everybody else's videos. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.